And we're back. Because it ain't bedtime yet. Of course, now I forgot what I was gonna do. Oh. So most of this, I'm just wanting to kind of indicate but yeah, so Procreate has just kind of made me, I don't know, really enjoy digital painting again. You know, working on the iPad and just the way the app works. It really took me a minute to kind of get used to it and truly embrace it, I think. I was skeptical. I won't lie. But after a few kind of rocky starts, and it also took them, like the app, kind of getting a little better. You know, there were things where I was like, okay, I love the idea of it, but it wasn't quite able to do what I needed it to do, to the point where I was like, okay, I could do this faster traditionally, so I should just do that. But now they have a better brush engine, and you know, doing more technical work. The clipping masks make all the difference for me. Obviously, like, this is something where you could take it really far and render the hell out of it, if you want to, if you wanted to. I'm not gonna do that, but mostly because if I decide to render it, I'll do more of that in the oils. I like to leave myself room to play no matter what I'm doing. I don't like to feel like I finished it and now I'm doing it all over again. You know, so treating this kind of like I would thinking of it like a rough pencil sketch in a way, and just making sure that there's hopefully still plenty of room to take it places. Darker with some of these. Actually, the fun thing with this lighting setup could be getting a little bit of a transillumination on that ear. I'm always a sucker for that. Who doesn't like a little bit of transillumination? Or, you know, in the 3D world, back when I was even lightly considering that, it would have been subsurface scattering. So, and the key to that is you don't actually want to get too bright with it, right? Meaning too high value. So, because it's not a light source. I guess that's also where we need to decide. Just what angle his ears are at. Hadn't really thought about that. I think we may want to kick this down a little bit, because I didn't really see his ears as sticking like straight out to the sides, so want to be careful not to go too crazy. You know, maybe we kick that down a little bit. Unify these shadows a little more. I don't like it when it starts to feel too spotty, right? I want it to these shadow shapes to feel a little more cohesive, a little more designed. So one leading into the next. Oops. And use our trusty smudge tool to help us with that. Would I ever take on a student? I don't know. I hadn't really considered it. I've taught before. I taught at Laguna College of Art and Design for a few semesters, but got a little too slammed with work and really couldn't keep it up because that was a long drive for me from Pasadena down to Laguna Beach, for one class that didn't pay very well. But, yeah, I did get a sketch artist out of it for a little while at least. Unfortunately, she is leaving us to move out of town, but she crushed it while she was here. Which makes me happy and proud of her. But I haven't really thought about taking on a student, mostly just because, like, you know, I work long days and it's like all I can do to kind of find time to sort of push my own stuff forward more. Not opposed to the idea, but I'd have to actually really think about how to make that actually work. You know, it's got to be worth everybody's time. 'Cause time is precious. Am I back? Can you hear me? I love how, like, everything you want to hear, it just won't let you hear it. It's being such an asshole. Tell me if I'm back on. Okay, cool. So, I'm not opposed to taking on a student, but I haven't really thought about it and I haven't considered exactly how that would work. Because I taught for a few semesters and I enjoyed it. It just was like it started to get in the way of my work time-wise. At the time I was freelance, so, you know, work was kind of everything. And teaching just didn't pay enough. Now if I took on a student almost more like an apprentice, it wouldn't really be about the money, but time is definitely a factor, and that's something I don't have a lot of right now. But if I do decide that I can, you'll be the first to know. Yeah, I had taught at Laguna College of Art and Design back in, I think, for 3 semesters, I think, back in 2013. Fall of 2013 was my first semester teaching, and then ended up hiring one of my students from that first class a couple years ago. Though she is moving out of town, which makes me sad. But I don't know. I enjoyed teaching. It was a lot of fun, and I like being able to share information in that capacity. I'm debating if I want to add any kind of a little bit of a fill light in those shadows or not. I might. The key is to not go overboard. Right? You don't want, never want to have those fill lights encroach into your actual lights. Just want them to add a little bit of depth, a little bit of air and atmosphere to those shadows. So never let those things get too light. I've been thinking about Patreon lately, quite a bit. I just kind of had to wrap my head around what I might use it for, what I might do on it, because I wasn't sure for a while. I didn't really want to turn it into tutorials, because I have other things I want to work on, but I figure I can double up a bit and work on my own stuff and do process videos at the same time. Because that's where I don't mind like working on my own stuff and talking about my thought process as I'm doing it. I enjoy that. Trying to decide where the corners of his eyes are. And then I always like to catch the crevices in the muscles. I like to catch the light in there. I like the sculptural quality that it gives. Makes me happy. I couldn't even tell you where I first saw it. I know I saw it somewhere when I was younger and always liked the look of it. So I'll use it to just sort of define some of the shapes. Especially if you couple it with a little bit of shading in there. Our trusty smudge tool back. I really should do these shapes afterward. Alright, let's do this right. Hey Vloopy, I'm glad you can make it back. Honestly, I haven't been streaming for a while, so that could be part of why you haven't been on it in a while. Let's get some little highlights on this bad boy. bit of separation. He's fun. I don't think there's a goblin challenge. I actually had drawn this guy a while back, well, at least his head, in a little watercolor piece I'd done, and I really liked him, so I thought maybe I'll do a study for an oil painting. That'd be fun. But, you know, a goblin challenge would be fun too. I'd be okay with that. A lot of times we do. The amount of times that, you know, we'll draw something and then 10 other people draw it as well. It's crazy. Alright, I'm actually gonna turn in here pretty quick, but for you guys, I will replay the process. How about that? Oh no, I'm doing this much. So you can see I pretty much just started drawing. I don't really do a rough block in. Sometimes I will if it's a really tricky pose, but a lot of times I already kind of have an idea of what I'm going for, so I just try and go as straight ahead as I can. I enjoy the challenge, especially on a forgiving medium like digital, where you can just take it all back if you want. But you know, most of it's pretty straightforward. Getting in a mid-tone and then hinting at some light and shadow, getting some local color in there pretty quick that I can start to push around. I think in the oils I would push it even further and get a little more color variation in the skin. You know, maybe the appendages get darker or something and torso stays a little lighter. But don't go to sleep. Don't you go to sleep on me. I do like keeping the lines in there sometimes as well. It just, because I'm thinking of this as a study for an oil painting, the lines don't really play into it that much. So, but I like to cheat and keep lines in there for little details, then I don't have to paint them as much. But yeah, I don't know, fun little guy. Might play around a little bit with, what's our layer setup? Yeah, we can play a little bit with some curves. Let's in this guy where we can see him. I don't know, I kind of like where he's at, but I might push. Whoa. if I want to push that green too much. A little. I don't hate that. Cool. Yeah. I think I had him right the first time. We'll keep him like that. Alright guys. This was about an hour in real time. So yeah, it'll probably end up getting split into 2 different videos on Twitch. Because we got dropped at one point. So yeah, this is about an hour of work. That's the fun part of keeping it loose. It goes by quickly. I mean, there's so much more I could do to detail him out if I wanted to, but I don't really feel the need, so we're gonna call it. And I've got to go to bed because I gotta wake up early. But thanks guys for joining. I'm glad this worked. Now I know I can just jump on and do this stuff without making a big deal out of it. So we will definitely do more. Alright guys. Peace. See if I can do this.